Hey all, it's John. Today I'm going to report on something. What I'm reporting about today is an article from RT, Russia Today. And this article is originally sourced through Reuters. It's about honeybees and aluminum. These honeybees have developed Alzheimer's-like symptoms that are found in humans. Yes, you did not read me wrong when I said this. So these bees are flying around without knowing what they're doing, and it's insane. And to tell you the truth, humans, when they have 3 parts per million of the chemical aluminum in their bloodstream, then that's a sign right there that you have probable cause to say that you have dementia in a human. Bees have 13 to about 99 parts per million of aluminum in their pupae, which is sort of like the human bloodstream, but that's for bees. Alright, that's like part of their vital organs for a bee. So the bees have 13, they have like, okay, let me correct myself here. I'm going to regather my thoughts. Bees have 3 times to about, 4 times to about 33 times parts per million of aluminum in their bloodstream. And aluminum has been said to cause Alzheimer's and dementia. And, people may say, John, where is this coming from? Geoengineering. The whole plan to make the climate different artificially through spraying aluminum and barium and ingredients like that in the skies. David Keith, a prominent figure in the whole climate change debate, and, he's a researcher and so on. You could say he's probably a scientist. He is. So, he said, put barium, put aluminum in the skies to fight the climate change debacle. Well, we know that climate change is a hoax. And the way that this whole aluminum would be happening is that you have planes crop dust and spray the barium, aluminum, strontium, all these other chemicals. Strontium, probably. Enough on the pronunciation thing. But they're spraying that into the sky to try to change the climate. And what we have noticed is that it's really ineffectual in a lot of ways, not related to our health. Related to our health, walking around outside breathing this in, some people have reported that their sickness is resulting from this. And I think they may have a valid point. But at the same time, you have to wonder the effects of these chemtrails. They're really, and chemtrails is not the most scientific name. Like climate expert Rosalind Peterson, she's really an expert in geoengineering. She studied this, she's a chemist, whatnot. And she said that we call it contrails because it's the condensation coming from these jet engines. And that very well may be true. However, how would you put chemicals into a jet turbine engine to spray this? And a lot of the aviation experts and scientists have said that this newer type of jet engine brought forth in about the 96, 97, 98, around those years, that these jet engines spray these contrails into the sky, and they stay, and these contrails stay there for a while. Like, you could go out for a walk right now in your own neighborhood. You know, your neighborhoods may be a mile or two long because you're in a subdivision, and you can see over the trees where these contrails, or chemtrails as some call them, are present. And by the time you walk home, you have a hard time seeing these chemtrails as well around certain areas. And a lot of that has to do with the angle that you're walking at, where you're seeing it, because when you walk one way and then you walk the other way back, you may not see the exact same view, and that's to be expected. But when you see chemtrails, you think, what is the effect on our health? And leading physician Dr. Russell Blaylock has warned us about chemtrails and barium and aluminum and strontium and all these chemicals that are being geoengineered into the atmosphere. So we got to ask ourselves, what's the cost in all this matter? What's the cost to us? So I'll leave you with that and to ponder for yourself. And you may think, John, this is one outrageous conspiracy theory. But, there hasn't been a lot of research to say, hey, this is safe. Okay? The research is very hard to pick one side or the other on, but we know that the human health is getting worse thanks to geoengineering. Because, how many people have taken samples of rainwater and other types of things where chemtrails had been sprayed then, and then they took it to a lab to have it tested. And I don't think these people, they're blaming the weather and chemtrails and all this for their possible health problems. I don't think they're insane at all. I think they have a lot of valid questions that we need answers to. And I'm no physician or anything. However, just because you're not a physician doesn't mean that you do not have the right to ask any questions about what's going on. And people may say, hey, unless you hear this from a doctor, who are you to say anything? If you don't hear this from a scientist, who are you to say anything? Well, Russell Blaylock said something. He's a doctor. He's an expert surgeon and a very great doctor who knows a lot of information, And you may say, John, what about Mike Adams from Natural News? What do you think of him? I think he puts out a lot of valid information that leaves us with a lot of questions. And that's good for us to question what's going on. People may say, Mike Adams, Russell Blaylock, they're kooks. Well, wouldn't you be more of a kook for not questioning what is going on in our atmosphere that's making everybody sick? And you may say, well, we're going to blame cars for depleting the ozone layer. No, let's wonder, why is David Keith, this scientist, saying we must spray barium, aluminum, strontium, whatever it is, into the sky? I just know those threes have been in samples, what they say are contrails, chemtrails, from like the rain coming down by the chemtrail, all this stuff. Well, really it's a contrail, but you get my drift. But what's going on here, if we don't ask questions, then we're kooks, okay? Ask yourself, what is going on? And it's not good, because a lot of us believe that there's depopulation agendas. And, if you understand a lot about eugenics and studied that, they said the population needs to be reduced. Well, what better way to reduce a population than through various means? And that's exactly what's going on. And you can't say with confirmation bias. You have to look up, you have to study this information about eugenics and and the contrails and all this other stuff, the medicines, you know, our water supply. And look, this whole global warming myth, it's only causing problems, people. You know, you may say, John, everything you just described is happening because of global warming. Well, the polar ice caps have not melted. Polar bears are not drowning, like Al Gore said in his movie An Inconvenient Truth, which is really an inconvenient lie of propaganda. Okay? Because he's been debunked, people. Al Gore's been debunked. And truthfully, a lot of environmentalism could mean well, you know, particularly when we stand up against geoengineering. However, when you go to the effect of the environmental argument for, hey, let's stop driving cars that run on fuel. Well, here's the thing about that. The reason why we may not want to use vehicles running on fuel is because of energy dependence, not because of some giant global warming myth. In my honest belief and opinion and researching and whatnot, well, we got to worry more about our energy and where we're getting it from, and if we continue to get this energy, because we don't know what can happen. But we mustn't go around worrying, hey, what if all this energy goes away? Well, the power grid is good to protect yourself and be prepared. But we don't know a lot about the power grid yet. You know, prepare like it's going to happen, people, if you want to. I don't blame you, because it's good to be prepared. You know, like, why do you think the Marines and the Army and the military, all those type of people were taught to be prepared? Well, some things say, John, it's because they were going to go to war. No, they're possibly prepared in case I got lost, too. You know, it helps out in multiple ways. So, I'll do another video later. And signing off. Please research this. It will blow your mind. Talk later on another video. Bye. Hey, y'all, it's Johnny. You may be wondering, I'm recording video in the bathroom. In this bathroom, it's a public restroom. There's not enough of a wall to keep some man from looking at you when you pee. And this is a total violation of the Act Code, because you don't want to be standing pissing next to another man. So this is absolutely not a male-friendly bathroom. And this just is an example of America being messed up. I have nothing. I don't care about your morals as long as it's legal and everybody's 18. But this is definitely creepy, and that is that.